Speaker, last week we heard of a massive tragedy where an 8-year-old girl died after a hit and run outside a school in Burlington, Ontario. The girl was trying to cross the driveway to get to the school's entrance when she was hit by a car leaving the parking lot. Speaker, the issue of pedestrian fatalities and severe injuries has become a growing concern for residents and communities, with 22 deaths and 77 severe injuries reported in Toronto in 2022 alone. The lack of meaningful action in Ontario to ensure safe streets for all is concerning. We here in this House need to do much more. So my question to the Premier is, what action will this government take to prevent these fatal pedestrian accidents? Thank you, Speaker.
Minister of Transportation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the member opposite for her important question. Mr. Speaker, since we were elected in 2018, road safety has been a top priority for our government, and I just want to underline the fact that road safety is not a partisan issue. Our government has worked closely with members of the opposition caucus on these important measures because we want to do everything we can to protect our vulnerable road users. Since September of 2018, Mr. Speaker, we implemented important changes that will protect vulnerable road users. We've increased penalties for drivers who fail to yield for pedestrians at crosswalks, at crossovers at school crossings, at crossovers and at school crossings. We've increased the maximum fine penalty for all general offences, Mr. Speaker, under the Highway Traffic Act. And we've introduced a new offence for careless driving causing death or bodily harm with penalties that include fines, license suspensions, and imprisonment. Mr. Speaker, this offence carries the longest prison term of any penalty in the Highway Traffic Act. But, Mr. Speaker, this is not a one-and-done issue, Mr. Speaker. It's an ongoing priority, and we're going to continue to work with Ontarians.
Thank you. The supplementary question.
Speaker, I agree with the Minister on one thing. Road safety is not a partisan issue. And we have also introduced a solution, Bill 40, the Moving Ontarians Safely Act, which will enshrine measures to prevent more lives from being impacted by unsafe roads. And I think of my friend right here, the member from St. Catharines, whose mother was hit by a driver on March 24th as she crossed the street in front of another elementary school. She was knocked 9 feet in the air and hurled for 20 feet. She's still in hospital. So I ask this government, will this government commit to making our roads safer by passing this bill? Thank you, Speaker.
Minister of Transportation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, any form of aggressive and distracted driving is unacceptable, and it will not be tolerated by this government. Mr. Speaker, our government introduced community safety zones around schools for this specific issue to make sure that drivers take extra care when they are driving around our most vulnerable, our children, Mr. Speaker. We have allowed municipalities to introduce this around schools, and we're doing everything we can to support community safety zone implementation across Ontario. Mr. Speaker, we understand that in last year alone, in 2021 alone, over 250,000 tickets were issued to vehicles that are captured by speed cameras who are noticing speeding in these community safety zones. Mr. Speaker, we're going to continue to support our municipalities as they take the measures that they can to protect vulnerable road users, especially around schools, Mr. Speaker, and we're going to continue to do what we can to keep our roads, make sure that our roads are among the safest anywhere in North America.